What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the real Josie.
I'm Peter Parkour, and we are
the Distorted Theorists. Welcome into 2022, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year to all the viewers out there. We're happy to be bringing you some great content in the year to come. But today, we got a special video for everyone watching where me and Peter will be breaking down our 5 worst movies
and shows,
and our 5 best movies
and shows
of 2021. This video has been kept secret from me and Pete. I don't know what's on his list, and he doesn't know what's on mine. We're going to do a few little discussions and see what we come up with. What do you think?
So the way that we're going to start this is we're going to go off with our 5 worst movies and shows, leading up to the worst of the worst, and then we will head into our 5 best, which will also lead up to the best of the best.
There were some good ones, so I'm excited.
So yeah.
But we'll break it down and I guess pick each other's brain and see where we felt the year fell for us in movie and review. So Pete, let's hit me with your 5th best worst video or show of 2021.
Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit of a surprise for you because it was a bit of a surprise for me.
Okay.
So my number 5 worst movie or show of 2021 was Black Widow.
Ooh, I could see.
Now, I'm gonna follow this up with the caveat that I actually really I did enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
However, I was sitting in the theater and I was watching the movie, and I mean, it did miss some beats and everything like that. There were no stakes in the movie. I was sitting down and watching it because we knew we've watched all the Marvel shows and the movies.
Yeah.
Like I was just like there was nothing for me to sit on the edge of my seat. Like, is she gonna live? Is she?
Because of Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, because I knew what came after was that she's gonna survive, and obviously they're talking about her sister and everything like that. So that was a little bit more to it. And there were a couple of beats that were just missed, and there were a couple of times that it fell flat. And I think it was ultimately the reason that I included it is not because it was a bad movie, but it just fell flat for me personally. It was still a good movie.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy it. It was the swan song for Scarlett Johansson. It introduced Florence Pugh as Yelena, and all the supporting cast of characters I found were great too. Like even the villain, like the bad guy who really.
Well, I mean, ultimately, a number 5 is really the best of the worst. So. Yeah. I mean, and we had lots to choose from, so I could see where Black Widow fell in that for you.
And I'm sure there's other things that I've watched this year across various streaming platforms that were probably worse than that, but I think that was the biggest disappointment for me. Again, not because I didn't like the movie, but it was just kind of like, I went into the theater, went like, here we go! And then I went 20 minutes in, I was like, wait, I know how this ends. She lives.
Yeah.
And I didn't care about, like, her parents and her sister. I was like, this is gonna be something. So I was just kind of like, it was kind of a letdown, but more of a personal letdown. So yeah, that was mine.
Okay.
What's yours?
My number 5, similar vein. My number 5 worst show of this season.
Okay.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier for me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Well, first of all, I'm not a big political guy, okay? So I felt like this show was very political in a way, like the government and this, that, and the other thing. And then you brought in
a statement.
Yeah, and then they came in with the soldier. But honestly, one of the biggest things that made it tank for me was I think they've nerfed Bucky. He came out so strong. Like, well, think about it. Winter Soldier, one of your favorite movies, I know it is, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He come out so badass. Choreography was on point. He was just so crazy good. And honestly, since Endgame and that, I mean, he carried a gun. And and now I realize they're fighting aliens and all that stuff. But then now this show, I was like, okay, here they go. They're fighting humans. Let's get it going. And he still didn't do it for me. And I was like, you know what? I want the old Winter Soldier back.
But I think the reason that the old Winter Soldier was so badass is because he didn't have a conscience. He was a robot. Go there and do that. Okay.
100%. But I mean, I feel like they took a character that was so loved to be hated, and now he's just a Hawkeye kind of guy. You know?
Getting on the Hawkeye hate. There it is.
But, I mean, that's why I chose, like I said, aside from that, we got the new Captain America with the new suit, badass. I love the white and everything like that. All the acting in that was great. The brutality was fine. Some of the choreography was great. But it was a big expectation and then a little letdown. So, yeah. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Okay. I've heard some negative comments from you on that one.
It's not the worst movie I've seen or show, because we'll get to that. But again, it was another case of the hype train being like, ooh, here we go. Because Venom is probably one of my favorite villains from the comics. He's just...
Can I pause for a second?
Yeah.
No, I was raising my hand.
No, that was just awkward.
My number 4 is Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
See? It was a preemptive.
So I figured it was a good segue for us to both talk about it. Why didn't you like it?
It was, well, why didn't I like it?
Hit us with the truth. It's 2022. It's keeping it real, baby.
It's short. True. Carnage sucked. Woody Harrelson was awful as Cletus.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, I'm crazy. Why? I'm crazy. What the Shriek or whatever her name was, she was pointless. I actually fell asleep during the final battle.
Was that your snoring?
I did. I was dead serious in the theater. I was like, this is like, oh, they're in the church.
For me, I'll be honest, even from Venom, I don't like the way Venom looks, and I'm not a fan of how Tom Hardy portrays him. That's just me. I was so pumped for Carnage. I love Carnage again. The brutality, the look, But again, Woody Harrelson, I see him in too many different roles. I don't.
Well, he had,
I don't know.
potential. Like, he's been in so many good movies over the years that he could really...
The fight is just a mishmash. It's like symbiotes. It's like, what?
It's goo.
Like, and the only thing that did anything for me in that movie, honestly, was the end credit scene when they, of course, revealed that, Venom came over Tom, which they retconned right away. So anyway,
I don't know. It's there's a lot of things to talk about that, and again, it was a case of the hype train.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really a part of, because
you had low expectations.
Well, I had low expectations, much like MJ says. You keep your expectations low and you won't be disappointed. However, there were a lot of things that were coming out. Like, first it was like, we're making Venom 2. I'm like, okay, I enjoy the first one. It had its problems, but maybe they'll figure something out. They're like, Andy Serkis is directing, which isn't a bad thing, because the guy is a pioneer of motion capture. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he can kind of get a little bit more into what the suit can do and everything like that. And Tom Hardy attached, and Woody Harrelson's going to be coming back as Carnage. I'm like, ooh, this could go very far. And then through the jigs and reels over time, it was like, yeah, they had to do reshoots. I'm like, that's not a terrible thing. Maybe they had to do something else for that. It's 90 minutes long. It's what?
Yeah, I know. I was really confused with that, but I don't know.
I don't know. And if they honestly go ahead and make a Venom 3, I'll be very surprised. As Venom 3 as a standalone movie, there's things in the wings of which something we will not discuss in this video.
Yeah.
But there's been. Venom might make a reappearance in a couple of other things.
Mind if I hit you with my number 3?
Yeah, go for it.
So, my number 3 is The Suicide Squad. Yeah, I went into that movie, and I went with a buddy of mine, and I was not feeling. I didn't like the villains. I didn't find any of the humor hit for me. I don't like John Cena's acting, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that. I mean, the only saving grace for me was Harley Quinn, because obviously she's always acted well in that role and brings life to the role. But other than that, it was just a super miss. I didn't care for the shark. The muskrat or whatever he was, the rat dude was hilarious, Weasel. But other than that, man, just didn't do it for me, honestly.
My number 3 was Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, Mortal Kombat.
And like I think I need to go back and watch it. It was just at the time, like I was at home and I watched it illegally, and it put me to sleep. So I don't know if it was after work, if it was a long day or something like that. But it just didn't grab me. The acting at the very beginning of it, well, because that's all I saw, it was just like.
And I could see what you're saying. Honestly, and this is a negative from me as well, is Mortal Kombat showed everything in the trailers, which and every good part about that movie was in the trailers.
Yeah. Like the first part of it where, like, for everyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah. Well,
go see
at this point, it's spoilers.
For the first part of it is like a scene, it's a flashback.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, okay, this actually looks pretty good.
Choreography was on point.
Yeah, and it was just even the tone, the emotion of the whole history thing and why whoever he is becomes whoever he does. I don't care. I was like, okay. And then we get to, is it Michael Jai White?
I don't know. The actor?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Anyways.
You're talking about Sub-Zero.
The guy that loses his arms.
Oh, Jax.
Yeah, but is that Michael J. White? J. White? Michael J. Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was just like, you're forgettable.
Monotone.
Yeah, and it was just like, you gotta get to the truck, Brett. Like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just, no.
We've already forgot about that one. What's your number 2?
My number 2, Halloween Kills.
Okay. And why didn't you like that one?
Because this was my own hype of, this is going to be my first Michael Myers, my first Halloween movie to go see in theaters. I was like,
Yeah.
And it was just
I think we seen that one together, did we not?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was just a sizzle reel of people getting into stupid situations, which again, I should have been able to see from the very beginning. It'd be the same thing if you had gone to see a Freddy Krueger, Camp Crystal Lake, whatever his name is. Friday the 13th.
Jason.
Yeah, if you're going to see him like, oh no, I'm going to get naked, get in the shower, hope no one comes and gets me, and then they get stabbed.
So
like, well, duh,
So
we're going to
true.
have sex in the woods, and this is what happened. And we were watching it, and I was like, well, this is good. And it did. And there was like, oh no, you didn't have the gun. Although, when she shot herself in the head,
yeah, that was pretty gruesome.
it was gruesome, but I laughed.
Well, see, the opposite, if I may, my number 2 worst movie of the year for me was Fast and Furious 9.
Okay.
Opposite of everything you could see coming. This movie literally threw everything they had at the wall, and none of it stuck. Right away, the scene with Tyrese Gibson, where all the guys with machine guns are literally looking down on this guy, opening fire. He gets not hit once, and they play it up as like, I'm a superhero. I can't die. I'm like, no, man. Like, as outlandish as the Fast and the Furious franchise is, I can get behind almost all of it, honestly. And I enjoy the movies thoroughly. But when that happened, I was like, you're trying too hard. And from there, the movie never took off for me. Even when it took off and sent a car to space, ladies and gentlemen, still made me believe that this is outlandish. And I was like, what are you doing? Bring back The Rock, which I know is not going to happen because he's openly talked about it.
Yeah, she mentioned it. It was a statement that came out today.
Nonetheless.
What's your number 1?
You want to hit me with number 1?
No, you go with number 1.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you with my number 1.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills. I thought the movie was absolute dog shit. And I'll tell you why. Every death was so shoved down your throat. I'm going to break this fluorescent tube and I'm going to get you. Oh. I was like, what are you doing, man? Make it at least scary. I was laughing in the movie at a horror movie. No go for me.
Jamie Lee Curtis was probably the saving
That
grace
was a
of
money
movie.
grab. She wasn't even in half of it.
But that's what she was probably.
We have Jamie Lee Curtis and all these other people you don't know.
Yeah.
Like literally,
That are
that's what it
gonna
was. What's your fucking number 1?
My number
What's the
1 worst movie of the year
Yep.
was Fast and Furious 9.
I knew it.
What an absolute pile of garbage.
Yeah.
I don't even care. I'm not even. Vin, come for me. I don't care. I know your weakness. It's your weakness is family. I don't care.
I knew we were going to be similar wavelengths.
Garbage. That movie. Oh my god! I was sitting and watching it, and the only reason I kept watching it was to see how bad it could get, and it kept getting worse and worse. And there was no reason for John Cena to be like, "Hey, remember me? I'm your brother that no one remembers." And I've never talked about from whatever it is. Let's have some flashbacks to people that don't even look like us. They're the different sizes.
Well, I mean, for me, speaking on John Cena, I'm a big wrestling fan. I've watched it the majority of my life, and I think for me, he will always just be John Cena, the wrestler, and I don't think I'll ever get behind him. Actually, I couldn't see John Cena in the whole Fast and Furious 9. Weird. But no, I mean, we were pretty similar on our list, I feel. Like a couple of hits.
I'm not even done with Fast 9. I don't care. I'm still talking about how garbage this movie is.
Give us another half a minute of your time.
And like the whole Scotland thing, and then this like 30-second streak when he's going across the wires. And the whole thing with John Cena, like the Magnet thing, Magnet was cool. But the John Cena...
And plausible.
Kind of. But at the very beginning, it was like, yeah, I never told you about my brother. And yeah, he's a bad guy now. And he's just owns all these super weapons. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, later in the movie, yeah, I know, they didn't really like you. You want to be my partner? Yeah, okay, everything's all forgiven.
Yeah.
Oh,
again.
What?
Yeah, I know, like, it don't make sense.
Oh my God, it was just... Oh.
And then they brought back Han, which was fine. But the way they did it, I could not get behind it.
Remember how I was dead? And there was a whole bunch of movies that talked about how I died and I wasn't dead and then I was dead.
But you know what?
I wasn't.
But you know what will make you feel better about Fast and Furious 9? Is starting with your number 5 best movie of the year.
That won't make me feel any better about Fast 9.
I'll make you feel better about this video. So
all right, hold on, I gotta flip my list over.
I'm excited for this one. I'm more excited for the best. I want to see what we have to say.
Now this is kind of a tie because I watched.
Ties in this.
Well, there is because I already had the list made and then I watched this movie today.
Okay.
So my number 5 best movie or show originally was Dune. That blew me out of the water just for the visuals because of seeing an IMAX, this massive screen, and again visuals.
Yep.
Don't know anything about the story. It really surprised me. But I tied it with No Time to Die. I watched that today.
Okay, you did, yeah.
And
it was good then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it the best James Bond movie ever? No. GoldenEye is still that one. Or no, actually, really, Skyfall is the best.
And I can't really relate, as much as I want to say, don't spoil it for me. I've honestly only watched, for Daniel Craig, Casino Royale, which I loved.
Watch all 4 or 5 of the Daniel Craig ones because it is a complete story. You've got Casino Royale.
Did this new one, No Time to Die, open-ended or like?
Why don't you watch the movie?
Okay, I will. All right, well, to save us the spoilers, I'll go on number 5 best.
Okay.
Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. Ooh. I've voiced this to you multiple times. I love everything about Shang-Chi in the beginning, the 10 rings, the hand-to-hand combat was on point for me, right up on the bus scene, and when he's fighting his dad and all that stuff. The reason it's number 5 and not higher on the list, honestly, as I've told it to you before, I didn't really vibe with his suit reveal, you know, that superhero suit. Looked cool, but he had the upper part, but then he was wearing jeans and Vans or something. I was like, eh. And
Joggers
then
and Vans.
The biggest kick in the Nads for me was when they released the Soul Sucker Demon and all that stuff. I was like, what? Like I liked Shang-Chi, and I think he has a lot more potential for future movies and when he joins the Avengers, if that ever happens. But when they introduced the Soul Sucker, I just wasn't vibing with it, so it kind of never made it further in the list for me. But what did make it further in the list for me is my number 4, WandaVision, oddly enough.
Okay, all right.
And I'll tell you why. Anyone who's watched WandaVision, I think, can relate to this, that the first 2 to 3, 2.5 episodes, not that great because of the old style, and like you're kind of like, what is this? What am I watching?
I loved that.
And so some people did. However, when episode 3 ended, episode 4 started and dialed in, I remember every week hanging onto my seat waiting for WandaVision to come on because I had to see what was going on. And then, even though it ended up to be so stupid, they hit us with buddy from American Horror Story. His name is eluding me.
Oh,
say it.
I know you're talking about.
Well, anyway, her brother, that's Quicksilver, Evan Peters. When he showed up, I lost my mind.
Because you thought it was going to be.
Well, I thought it was something.
X-Men.
And honestly, the best thing that brought it down to number 4 on the list was they give us that big suit moment. Again, I love seeing that hero get their suit, and when Wanda opens up her arms and everything, and the fire or magic or whatever, and she got the red suit, I was like, oh my god! And actually, all my coworkers watched it with me that day in the boardroom. So that was we got all together, and it was a really cool moment.
He's really good at his job.
What was your number 4? Hit us.
My number 4 was Shang-Chi.
Okay. Go.
The reason for this one was because I went into this movie with no expectations. I don't know anything about Shang-Chi. Even through reading comics as I have for as many years as I have, I think I might have encountered him in like 2 books. Not 2 series, 2 books. He does play a part in some Spider-Man stories that I haven't read before. So it was like but I was geared for martial arts in Marvel, and it didn't disappoint. I do agree with you. The 3rd act was just kind of like, okay, we got Crouching Tiger, here we go, and the dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon. Why do you even need the 10 rings? You've got a dragon.
That's all. Not really a knock, just.
The cast really jived well with each other, even though the villain was a villain for part of it, and then like buddy dad for another one. Yeah. They still worked well, and Awkwafina, or whatever her name was, she did well.
Comedy was on point.
Is it Awkwafina?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Comedy was on point.
I feel that we have to pay a royalty now or something like that.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is it's a show.
Okay.
It's many shows.
Okay.
It's Marvel TV. Marvel TV really surprised me. I'm not going to go in depth with each one, but the fact of the matter was I did not really feel initially that the idea of tying in TV shows with the cinematic universe of Marvel was going to work.
So you're saying on the whole?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like WandaVision, Loki,
okay. So you're
Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye all together. I thoroughly enjoyed all 4 shows. The weakest was one you'd already talked about, was Captain Falcon.
So you're just going to omit What If right off the list, are we?
But because how much canon really is that? It's only part of it.
We don't know yet.
I did enjoy What If.
Yeah.
Some of them I was sleeping. But beyond that, it was I thought they did a great bang up job of it. And there's more coming. We're going to have Miss Marvel. We're going to have She-Hulk, and I can't wait to see where it goes from there.
Well, keeping on the Marvel train, can I give you my number 3?
Yeah.
The Eternals. I know your mixed reviews when we came out of the theater, but I felt The Eternals was a great movie. It introduced all kinds of new characters. I felt like even though it was 2 and some hours long, I was invested the whole time. I think the Celestials and all that opened up a new realm for Marvel movies to explore, which I'm excited for. Not so much even the Eternals to explore. I'm talking like maybe we'll get to see, Thor explore Celestials or what have you, or Captain Marvel or something of the sort. And like I said, Chloe Zhao did a great job with the cinematics of it. I loved all that. I love Angelina Jolie. She was a great actress in it with Athena. So I really enjoyed that. So
yeah, like my thing with the Eternals is like there was just too much going on. It wasn't a terrible movie. It wasn't a bad movie. It was a good movie. But it was just like there's too much going on. It didn't make my top.
Do you want my number 2?
Sure.
Loki.
All right, so
Loki,
technically I've already mentioned it. So,
but whatever. Loki for me was well done. It introduced Kang, as you said in one of our previous videos. He's going to be
Kang.
Hopefully, he's going to be the next big bad. They had the multiverse ripping open, or so we think. Timelines were going crazy. Owen Wilson is amazing. Tom Hiddleston is amazing.
We had a form of media with which Owen Wilson did not say "wow."
Yeah, well,
so that's huge. But good for him.
Hit me with your number 2.
My number 2. It's another show.
Okay.
And I don't think you've watched it.
Okay.
Squid Game.
Oh. Okay.
That show, that was something that I
can't get over subtitles, so.
I didn't, well, technically, as an aside, the subtitles are wrong. If you look up online, there's a lot of stuff that has been said in Korean that is actually not the proper English translation of it. For that reason, I really enjoyed it. It was one of those shows that I didn't even know what it was until I saw the first game that they play in Squid Game on TikTok. I was like, what is this? People getting shot left, right, and center. What is this? And I was like, it's Squid Game. So I started to watch it, and in less than 24 hours, I had the entire show watched. It was really good. It came out of nowhere. And now they're exploring season 2 and a possible season 3, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, I'd say tell me your number 1, and I'd tell you my number 1, but I know one movie that hasn't been mentioned yet, and I'm assuming, you hit him with it. What's your number 1, Pete? I know it's the same as mine. Spider-Man, No Way Home. Amazing film. We got to see so many returning villains, all great acting. Tom Holland is amazing. So much multiverse stuff going on. Lots of future stuff.
Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, all of our Alfred Molina, Willem Dafoe, James Fox. It was just so
good. I can't wait till it comes out on DVD because I'll be definitely picking it up and rewatching it like ASAP.
You sure you don't want to get on like VHS?
No, I mean, I don't.
Laserdisc?
And I know we've said spoilers and all this stuff, but I don't want to get too much just in case some people haven't seen it yet, But obviously, it's the biggest blockbuster of the season, of the year. 2021 was banging. Lots to look forward in 2022, and we'll have a future video on what we're excited for in the video world, gaming, new TV shows coming out, like you said, She-Hulk and stuff. But until then, I'm the real Jossie.
I'm Peter Parkour, and as
like
we always say,
keep it real.